Hello guys, good day. So in this video, I'm gonna talk out to you about information. But before that, let me first introduce to you myself. So by the way, I'm Ana Marie Matukading. So I am from Group 5, and since I was assigned to report information, of course, I am the first one also to report. Information, guys. What is information? Of course, information is a knowledge communicated or received concerning a particular fact or circumstances, just like news. And of course, we're aware of that news. That news is also disseminating information. So, news information concerning crimes and a lot, such as a lot of concerning societal problems and etc. Information also is an aid in decision making, policy making needed for the policy makers, and of course our policy makers needed that information, because without information they couldn't formulate such as rules and regulations to be uh, what do you call that, to be uh, rule in the society. So decision makers and etc, of course they need information to execute what they want to uh, do or execute. So guys, what are the purpose of information? So the purpose of information, of course, was to inform or educate, also to entertain and inspire. Uh, of course, it was also important for us to stir up emotion. So, guys, since we're living here in a modern world, which is technology is um, playing such a vital role in disseminating information to us people, especially we are living in this society who is needed so much information practically for today's generation, which is we're suffering from COVID-19 pandemic, which is we people need an information on what's happening in our society.
The very first step in knowing is through understanding the natural world. We can portray this statement to an infant. We all know that the first thing we want to teach to a child is to classify objects, the different colors, different animals, different sounds, and such. And this action, teaching a child about various things, is one way to let them understand the natural world, the real world. So, we want to let the child understand this little information because we are eager to teach, inform, and educate them. The usefulness of language. Language is valuable, right? Language will help us to search and know the truth. This is the main reason why we are capable of understanding others and conveying our ideas, emotions, and opinions towards others. This is all because of communication and language. The process. We are aware that there are different processes of communication. These processes are the steps taken in order to successfully communicate. There are several components of communication: the sender, the actual message, the process of encoding and decoding, and lastly, the receiver. This process is very important in order to understand the message. Example of this is what we are experiencing nowadays. Online class. Today, I am the speaker, and I am conveying a message about rules of language. These words that comes out in my mouth has meaning in it. These words will be encoded and decoded by the listeners, or you guys. While I am explaining her the rules of language, I am hoping that you can grasp what I said, shared, and discussed. Science. Science is derived from the Latin word sciere, which means to know. Science has many branches that talks about life, animals, plants, human body, and etc. Also, this is the kind of knowledge that the Greek wanted to deeply understand. We all know that science is more on explaining, informing, and help us to understand deeply the concept and theories that we are curious about, from the things we can see through our naked eye to the big things that we can see in our surrounding, and also the things we can't exactly see. But through science, we can now have a chance to widen our knowledge and widen the grasp of our understanding. Philosophers. Philosophers is one of our eye-openers to the different concepts and theories that we today studied and use. The first philosopher believed that the different things in the world must have a unifying factor. Thus, these things in the natural world, we need to scrutinize it, examine it, in order to understand it. One in the many. One in the many is the principle of Plato. This principle refers to the underlying unity among diverse beings in the natural world. According to him, there is a common intrinsic nature shared by different objects, which determine their real sense. Thus, different objects might relate to one another, or connected with each other. Hence, the importance of language is the tool to learn knowledge, transmit information, express feelings and emotions, forge cultural ties, and it may construct social identity. We should really value the language we have since it is our way of communicating and conveying our thoughts and opinions.
Mathematics as a language of nature. Mathematics was a great contribution of Isaac Newton. So, Isaac Newton was the original discoverer of the infinitesimal calculus. So, key takeaways. Why math is a language. A system of communication must have vocabulary of words or symbols, grammar, which is a set of rules that outline how vocabulary is used. A syntax organizes symbols into linear structures or propositions, and people who use and understand it. Mathematics meets this definition of a language. Linguists who don't consider math as a language cite its use as a written rather than spoken form of communication. Because mathematics is the same all over the world, math can act as a universal language. A phrase or formula has the same meaning, regardless of another language that accompanies it. In this way, math helps people learn and communicate even if other communication barriers exist.
Good day, everyone. My name is Edriel Navarro, and I'm going to report now the assigned topic, which is technological world and the printing press and beyond. So, technological world is the total knowledge and skills available to any human society for industry, art, science, and etc. So, technology was started by the early people, and the ancient time Western thinkers harnessed forces of nature after understanding them better. So, way back from ancient times, they are the ones who um, created or manifested the knowledge about technology. Okay. So, during ancient times, they were not able to record that the fire has its own power and energy, since all they know is to use, and they have different kind of reason why, or factors why they were not able to record or preserve some documents about the power and energy of fire. So the first one that was worked through the power of wind is lost in antiquity, which is the first sailing vessel. Okay. As you can see in the screen share. So This picture is a primitive steam engine invented in first century. Uh, it was invented by Hero of Alexandria. Hero of Alexandria was a Greco-Egyptian mathematician and engineer who was in his native city of Alexandria, Roman Egypt. So this is the technology which who was invented by the hero of Alexandria in first century. Okay. Um, so now next is the printing press and beyond. So a printing press is a mechanical device for applying pressure to an ink surface resting upon a print medium, thereby transferring um, the ink. Okay. So we all know what is the printing press. Uh, yeah, we all know that. Okay. So Johannes Gensfleisch zur Leden zum Gutenberg, or in a short, Johannes Gutenberg, was a German goldsmith, inventor, printer, and publisher who introduced printing to Europe with the introduction of mechanical movable type printing press. So he was the one who invented the printing press, and as stated in the previous lesson, so the power of ideas or idea, um, in a Greek word ideas, would be witnessed in succeeding centuries of development, particularly in the West. The fascination with language in the ancient brought the preservation of words of the earlier people at the same time, when the West weakened due to internecine warfare. So during that time, they are most fascinated with the language. So, but it was or it was brought preserved preserved when there was a um, conflicts between the Western people. Okay, okay. The development of printing press, which may be regarded as the true beginning of revolution in 15th century, because ancient Greek came up with the idea that the knowledge should be shared and communicated to the society using this printing press. Other people in different parts of the world could also share their thoughts and ideas with each other and forming communities of thinkers across space and time. So the printing press became became a bridge for people to to group themselves and share their thoughts also across space and time. And aside from that, printing press is a huge help for them because they gain knowledge from other people because of the spreading or disseminating of information through the use of printing press. Okay. So next, this this technological invention allowed words and scientific ideas to establish a view of nature anchored in scholarly works and studies, such as new discoveries on the phenomenon of electricity, which were eagerly absorbed by fellow scientists, who then utilized the science to create other technological products. Example, radio waves were built upon wave, nature of electricity and magnetism to come up with television and etc. So the transmission of ideas has gone changes in the information age. Digital world is a direct offspring of the progressing world of technology built upon the many advances of science. So because of science, the changes in the information age became more wide and um, drastical all around the world globally. And also the progressing world of technology is the reason why the digital world has been created. So, for example, right now I'm using this Zoom to share my ideas about this topic or report. Yeah, report because of grades, of course. And so that would be all. I think. I think so. Alright. Thank you for watching.
Hi guys, I'm Gerald Che Morales from Group 5, and today we're gonna talk all about what is World Wide Web, which is my assigned topic. So first guys, what is World Wide Web? So guys, when we say World Wide Web or known as WW, it is the it is a web of exchanging of information between computers on the internet. The World Wide Web guys is the network of pages of images, text, and sounds on the internet which can be viewed using browser or software. So later on guys, I'm gonna cite you some example of World Wide Web. The World Wide Web or web consists of worldwide collection of electronic documents. A website is a collection of related web page and associated items. So when we say guys web server, which is under of WW, it is a computer that delivers requested web pages to your computer. So next guys is Web 2.0. So Web 2.0 refers to website that provide a means for user to interact. So let's talk about guys the history of World Wide Web. So in 1989 to 1990, Tim Berners-Lee invents the World Wide Web at CERN. When we see guys CERN, it is European Council for Nuclear Research. WW, which is the World Wide Web, published in 1992. So guys, means World Wide Web create for transferring text and graphics simultaneously. It is also text mark for language, or it makes our life simple and easy to use. I'll show it to you guys the fundamental concept of the World Wide Web. So first under of fundamental concept is the hyper concept. So the hyper concept guys, it is a text which contains links to other texts. So next guys is the hypermedia. The hypermedia concept. So hypermedia concept guys is a term used for hypertext which is not constrained to be text. It can include graphics, video, and sound. Next guys is web browser. When you say web browser, it is a display a web document, and also it enables users to access a web documents. So next is web server. So guys, when we say web service, this is a program that waits patiently for the browser to request a web page. The servers looks like the requested information, retrieves it and send it to the browser, or send an error message if the file is not found. So lastly guys, the URL. So URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. So these are the web addresses. The resources locator is an addressing system. So guys, I will show to you guys how to create a web page. There are two basic steps required in making a web page. So it is simple guys. So first, create an HTML file. And next, upload file to server. So guys, I have a question to you guys. Which come first? It is the internet or www, World Wide Web? So the answer guys is the internet came first. Internet and www are two different concepts. So this is the difference between World Wide Web and internet. So when you see guys, internet, it is a massive of networks and it connects millions of computers together globally, forming a network in which any computers can communicate with any other computers as long as they are both connected to the internet. And also when you say the World Wide Web or WWW or simply web is a way of accessing information over the medium of the internet. So the web is just a portion of the internet, a bit of large portion, but the two terms are not synonymous and should not be confused. So guys, here are some the example of web browser or browser that allows user to access web page and web 2.0 programs. So the first guys is the Internet Explorer, Firefox, Opera, or Safari. So Safari guys, if your phone is iOS or iPhone. And last guys is the common, it is common for us the Google Chrome discussion. So first is www is a way of exchanging information. So next is Tim Berners-Lee is the inventors of the World Wide Web at CERN. Next is www is constructed using HTML. Next guys is there are basic steps to create web page, which is the two basic steps. Next guys is internet and www are the two different concepts. www is one of the services that run on internet. So that's all for today guys. I hope you have learned from our discussion.